your chance to know. Let me show you why. Let me show you why. Let me show you why. Let me show you why.
Grand Rising, my brother. How art thou?
Bless, my brother. Grandest arisings. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in here to the Humblest Opinion. Today, we talk about on this day, we want to talk about just some sports, which is well in our portfolio, offering you a humblest opinion on this. Today, basketball in the middle of March is the topic of the day, whether it be college and or professional. We just definitely want to bring out, talk a few points. Maybe offer our thoughts, some facts and opinions on what is um, the state of college basketball and the state of the NBA, and then of course breaking news relative to that. Before we do that, we do want to give you, gotta say a disclaimer. Disclaimer states that the humblest opinion is brought to you by AB2C Broadcasting, BCAR BTV, and Professional Renaissance Protection Services. Um, the views and opinion of this show is protected by an at-will clause, which is 100% alleviating of any backlash or ramifications, whether it be legal or physical, um, relative to this show or the thoughts and opinion. If you don't like what we're saying, you have the right. You have the right to leave your opinion. You also have the right to not listen. Just so you know, AB2C Broadcasting is the online radio station for you. Okay, first and foremost, ladies and gentlemen, we want to discuss, I guess, the state of college basketball, which we get into briefly here. The top four teams, we're definitely seeing a power shift in some of what's happening as far as college basketball and college sports. The main powerhouses, Kansas, UNC, Duke University, are not even in the NCAA tournament. Major coaches like Coach K and so on that produce NBA players on a consistent basis or get the top high school players, they're not even in the tournament. So teams like Baylor, teams like Illinois, teams like Gonzaga, of all places, are now the top teams in the tournament and have a right to go on. So, with that said, there's still not any payments being made to college athletes. Their likeness are still being used for free. We have a coach that kept his, which is so unfair. This is so unfair. We have a coach that said stay on the plantation, and he still gets to keep his job. Crazy. Crazy. It's the wildest of situations. But again, please tell us your thoughts on anything college basketball at this point in time, heading into this huge moneymaker session that is March Madness, or the NCAA tournament.
As you mentioned, it is highly unfair that so many people are able to make money off of these guys, and they're unable to reap the rewards. I mean, I don't truly understand the reasoning behind that. You being the resident expert could probably explain as to the justification for this. Okay, because in my opinion, in my humblest opinion, we're right back to the plantation mentality. Okay, you're getting rich off of the work, off of the blood, sweat, and tears of somebody else who may not even end up making it bit pro because of injuries or other things that may affect them, but you've still made millions off of their likeness and their ability. So I lean to you on this to explain to me why or how do they justify the new plantation?
I have to laugh because honestly, I don't know myself. I don't see this as fair This doesn't make any sense. The funny thing is that every other sport, okay, how it works, the NCAA have, for you to be an NCAA school or university, you have to have 10, at least 10 male and female sports, which, by the way, is a whole other can of worms. Whereas
Yeah.
new legislation is going to push that, maybe international or transgender people or people that don't have a sex or intersex people are going to be able to come and compete. Come and compete. Honestly, me
Wow.
personally, my humblest opinion, I don't care. I don't care. I just want to make sure that that person can they rebound, can they score? Because I just want a good game.
Right.
At this point, because if they get past all this checks and balance and they open this up to people in that community before they actually decide to pay minority athletes or just pay athletes in general, then we know it's an agenda. It's kind of crazy.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
I don't understand the rationale behind why they could make. You got coaches. If every team that makes the NCAA tournament, their coach gets a bonus. The lowest bonus usually being maybe $30,000, $40,000, maybe
Right.
$100,000.
Right.
You have betting in Vegas. You have betting online. You have fantasy basketball on college athletes, which the people that are sitting in the stands and the students can make money off of these athletes. Then you got their uniform, their jersey, the school merchandise that goes up. They come out with a new shirt or new uniform or new pants
Right.
about this stuff, and they can make money off of this. At one point in time, the greatest example that I can state is the University of Gonzaga had 22 buildings when they first started, major Division One NCAA basketball. Not 21 buildings. I'm thinking 12 buildings. Now they have upwards of 150 different buildings on their campus.
Mm-hmm.
They were able to build a new gym. The school is being enriched by basketball. They don't have football as
Exactly.
far as I know.
Same.
But
Same plantation mindset.
right, so and then for a coach to openly say this is the plantation, I mean, come on, you knew it was the plantation.
Yes.
You
Yes.
had to have known. It's just which plantation you're going to sign up for. But you have top quality talent decommitting from that school because obviously that's kind of insulting. So, on another note, relative to this, or the same note relative to this, sports, who's actually going to win? I think. Honestly, I don't really have an idea. Nobody has an idea because it's kind of up in the air. We're just coming off COVID-19. Whether guys got to take a vaccine, it's all supposed to be housed in one place in Indianapolis, which is great for the economy of Indianapolis. But the people that are there not getting any money. That's another whole topic or thought. So, TV rights, television rights, the shoe teams, the big sneaker companies, all the money's coming into these universities and programs, and the coach. Everybody in the staff, most of them, the top 25 teams, top 50 teams are making $1 million. But the coach can't even give a player any money or buy him or her anything because the
Right.
coach fired and the player would get, I don't know, maybe lose their scholarship or so on and so forth. So there are rules in place. I don't understand the rationale on this. I think it's been some legislation to kind of push this to a different level. But on the court, you have schools that have a numerable amount of money
Right.
and they pretty much flex their muscle,
Right.
to get the top talent to keep that process going. So we don't know who's going to do what. We don't know who's going to win. Right now, I know some good people, quality people at the University of Baylor and Illinois, but nobody really knows. Even ESPN's giving away $1 million to anybody that can pick a perfect bracket.
Right.
So everybody gets the benefit except the actual person on the floor. How would you feel? In this
But that is
America?
but but that is the reason why I'm saying it is clearly um, the plantation mindset, because this is what a lot of people fail to realize. Slavery never was really abolished. They just changed the rules. They repackaged some things. So you
Yeah.
could be a slave in prison, and basically college basketball is just another prison. It's just another prison system. Because
Yeah.
here it is now. Once you're locked into this thing, you have to be working now. Yes, I'm not saying that, oh, they don't give them certain benefits in reference to um, skating through with certain classes, which is not beneficial mentally to that athlete, you know.
Yeah. It isn't.
Um,
It isn't actually.
right. Now I can understand when they say, well, in order for them to go to college or go to uh, you have to go to college when you know, when they're being scouted, that they're not
Right.
allowed to accept and receive gifts, which would be bribes. You understand me? So whoever have the most
Yeah.
money will
Yeah.
end up being the person that you go to. I can understand that part. But now that I'm
Right.
here and you are making money from this, why is it that I can't get something when the person who's coaching me is making more than their salary when they do well? They could get perks,
Yeah.
but I can't get perks. Why is that? Why is it, as you
Yeah.
said, these college campuses could start off at a certain level, like the politicians? You start off with 10 grand in your bank account, and by the time as your term is done, you got 50 million. Hold on, man, how's this making sense? How is this okay? You know, okay, and the people who are doing all of the work, who are putting the funds in the seat, can't benefit.
Yeah.
There's something wrong with that, man. Okay,
Yeah.
it's
I've
obvious that
never.
we're being sold a dream.
Yeah. I've never came to a game to see a coach. I've never in my life. Oh wow, that coach over there. Look at Bill Belichick. Look at
Yes, yeah,
look at Nick Saban or whoever. No, hey, who's on the court? I want to see who's on the court. I want to see who's on the field. And I want them to be the best they can be. So that's just a thought of mine relative to this. This is a humble opinion on the sports with the college basketball. The fact that ESPN can give away, and then Warren Buffett can offer another million to somebody that picks the perfect ballot. You could make $2 million. Um, Here's a start. You could technically, because it's 64 teams, you could technically submit a bracket where everybody plays everybody and use
right,
all 64 teams, put
right,
all those brackets in. You're going to lose each, maybe 63 of them, but one of the teams you pick is going to win.
right,
And you could make $1 million. You could make $2 million.
right, right,
Just by, it's kind of like one of those things with the SAT, just picking all the wrong answers or, alternating the answers and so on and so forth. You can use that
right.
strategy. So, um, it's just amazing that there's so much money on the table and under the table and around the table, but nothing actually for the people at the table. And
Well, I
that's crazy.
mhm. Well, I would say this: the system can't change itself. No system is going to change itself because the people who are benefiting are making far too much to try to change the system. The
Yeah.
athletes need to
Yeah.
come together and have a union and say, this is what we demand. Okay, the
Yeah.
majority,
Yeah.
if not all, need to link up, join up in this thing, and say these are the things that we demand if you all expect for us to continue, because they cannot make money without them. They can't make the money
Right.
without them, right? So
Right.
they need to come together as a unit and say this is what we demand, because we're seeing the money being made. Yes, there's a possibility of you making millions if you are drafted into the NBA. But how many college basketball players or any kind of um, entertainment, any kind of sports entertainment, how many of them can say that that is what happens to them? How many of them can
Yeah.
say that after college, they went straight to the NBA and signed a 50 million, $100 million deal? How many can say that? So
Oh, that's
why is it so why is it that they are unable to benefit now? Because guess what? By the time as they come out of school, they would have their own businesses. They would have their own franchises. They would be set. So why isn't this being done? Because the goal is not to empower the people. It's to empower themselves. I'm not saying
Yeah,
that they need all, but give these people a chunk of something. Give them a chunk of something.
yeah. Yeah, and just to present some facts on some of the stuff, there has been a union that they kind of started, but it's not really fully widespread. It's not every student automatically comes in and gets a spot to be on the union or to have an opinion, even just offer the idea. As far as some of the revenue streams, the guy that actually started the union was a former player. His name Ed O'Bannon, and Ed O'Bannon did push to start this union after he was sitting watching his nephew playing with his character or likeness on a game. That's EA Sports. Everybody's played a video game.
Right.
Everybody's played, for the most part, one of these things that he saw his character or likeness in the game, and he was not getting a dollar for that. Whereas he was playing overseas, he, flushed out. He's struggling to make some money, but these guys are making a huge astronomical amount of money off of your likeness. So that's one thing what happened. So he did kind of form a union. He did form a lawsuit on some of this, but they did push back the date on when they would actually allow people to kind of make their likeness or money off their likeness. So, they're kind of doing some other things to kind of twist and or turn the whole business or the industry so they can keep making more
Right, but I
money
mean,
off of this.
and I see the effort, but it's obvious that it's not widespread or widespread enough
Yeah,
because
yeah, yeah,
this is based off of one incident where they may be able to get something for this particular person or the few that may be around or surrounding this. My thing is that it needs to be start as a national thing all over America
yeah,
and gradually and
yeah,
eventually get to all other countries like that. Because until they get a lot of people on board, okay, it's like any movement. It's like any movement. If only the few people who are concerned about the ecosystem or about whales or about dogs, if only that particular demographic is a part of that, certain things can happen, but definitely not as much as if the entire country or the entire populace or the
yeah,
majority of the populace was on board with this thing. So I'm saying they
yeah,
need to now put it's a good start, but it's only a start. It's a good start. They need to
yeah,
get on this. They need to get on this and get it national because there has to be many more players who don't appreciate the fact that they're not being taken care of. Has to be.
uh, yeah. It's definitely not to the place where it needs to be, and it definitely needs to be where it definitely needs to be put in the right perspective. It's just too much money on the table that's not getting down to the people that need it the most. Speaking of money, speaking of those things, let's switching gears to the NBA, where a lot of these kids go to, and that was my next point as far as the previous point. The percentage is your chance of making the NBA. You, and this is fact, look it up. You have the better chance of being struck by lightning twice in the same spot
Okay.
than making NBA. You have
Okay.
every year you have a combined 1 million student athletes playing college sports and or college basketball. I mean high school basketball.
Mm-hmm.
You have
Mm-hmm.
a 0.01%, basically 0.10% chance of making the NBA. And then of making the NBA, if you have a career that lasts longer than 3 years, um, which your percentage, your chance of that is basically 0.40.1%. And in the
Yeah.
entire existence of the entire NBA, there's only been less than 5,000 total NBA players. The NBA has been around for
Right.
75 years. There's only been
Okay.
5,000 NBA players. So your chance of getting any money from it because of the structure of the beat is just really non-existent. You have a better chance of winning the lottery than winning and making the NBA.
And that's why
We have
I say this is so unfair.
Yeah, it is kind of unfair that you just work this, and then you have to work 12 years of high school, then 4 years of college potentially, so
Think
16
think
years of
think how
investment
many,
potentially for nothing.
right? Okay. think of how many hours, okay, you
Correct.
being a former
Yep.
player, you dealing with this sport, okay, on a regular basis, sports on a regular basis. Think about the hours that have to be invested into someone being good, whether you have natural ability or whether you have to work to become somebody who
Correct.
has ability, right? Think of the
With
amount of
proper
hours,
training
the
too.
blood,
Yeah, you need proper
right,
training as
sweat,
well too,
right, blood, sweat, tears, injuries,
which costs
okay,
money too as well.
yeah,
It costs money as well.
okay, right. Then, as you said, once you get to the point where you feel like you could be something, then you have to get coaching. So people have to pay for that. Okay, you have
Right.
certain supplements and a certain diet you're supposed to be
Yes.
on. Okay,
Yep. Yep.
so
Yep.
so all of this is money. Now this is many years of this. Now, when you finally do become good enough for a college to scout you, you now get into college. You have to do your schoolwork, and you still have to do these hours. Now they are more because more is
Yeah.
expected of you. Okay, my thing is, since the chances of you becoming an NBA star is so slim, why isn't it set up? If you truly care about these kids, why isn't it set up for them to be able to be great after? You continuously watch the movies. They're always making movies about teams, um, that did
Or
well,
players. Yep.
or
Yep.
faced a whole lot of challenges and ended up winning a championship.
Right. The greatest
What
show on Netflix right now actually is about something called
Mhm.
Last Chance U, about a high school, about a junior college team in California. So it sells. Even Netflix is making
Okay,
money off
so
of these
right,
kids.
so this is my point. One, when the movie airs or the series ends, however it's set up with whatever you're watching,
Right.
what do you see them saying in the credits about where these people went? What they're doing now? Oh, somebody now working at McDonald's. Okay, you understand what I'm saying? Okay,
Yeah.
or they're a satellite technician. Or come on, man, you're serious? After all of this, and you all made a movie about this, you're saying to me that when our kids come from college, they're just gonna do all of this and just go and do regular jobs? Well, why did I do all of that? Because I could have left
Yeah.
school and went and did that same thing. I could have left
Yeah.
high school and went and did that same thing, and probably been in a
Yeah.
better position by now because I didn't spend 3 to 4 years in college making y'all look good. When the movie situation comes out, how much money do you think these people really get for their story being told? How much do they truly benefit? This is the
Yeah, it
scary
is.
thing.
Yeah.
Okay, this is
It
the scary
definitely is
thing.
imbalance. It
Okay,
definitely
so
is
so I'm
imbalance.
saying it needs to be fixed. It needs to be fixed. This is a problem,
Yeah.
man. This is a huge problem because you have so many of our kids by the wayside. It's just as bad as the military situation. You go and you do all the service, and then how many people are homeless? They don't care. They don't
Man,
care
that's
for
a
you
whole
anymore once
that
you're
that
done.
is a whole another show, and it's kind of sad,
Right,
man, because everywhere you see it, people that die for this country. Hats off to anybody that fought. The premises and the thoughts behind why. A lot of it is economic and sub-economic, but
right.
it's
Yes.
it's it's rough. It's tough what you're seeing. As far as the
Okay.
veterans, we definitely gonna do a
And
show on that in the future.
uh, yes, and we see it we see it in the basketball game as well. Because once you're done, you're tossed to the side. As long as you're no longer able to play, you're no
Yeah,
longer qualified to be their um, you know their scapegoat, um, their entertainment. Then what happens? They're done with you.
yeah, you're pretty much done.
Okay,
You're pretty much done because
you're
they're
you're
looking for
you're
the
you're,
next one.
you're you're a cliff note. Come on, man.
Yeah, they're looking for the next one. Oh, you didn't win? Oh, well, that's sad. You didn't get your degree? Oh, well, hey. Oh, well, you got the
But
job. Oh, well, bye.
but
Thank you.
but that's exactly it. That's exactly it. Okay,
Yeah.
you have your 1 minute to 15 minutes of fame because everybody has a different a length of time with that, and then that's
Right.
you. Okay, you out the door and you on your own. Okay, things should be set up where this should be beneficial to them. We're making money from it. Let them at least make something. By the time as they're finished, they
Yeah.
should be able to own their own home, own their own vehicle, and have money for a startup business as long as they did well.
To wrap that point on the college basketball aspect of it, it's just it's just an unbalanced, slippery slope. A lot of individuals that played should definitely get more. They should probably even go back. There's enough money. If you look at the valuation of the NCAA and these universities, to go back, and even the guys that played in the past, offer them some funds or something else. The guys, girls, Title IX, same thing. That, hey, you played, you should be able to have this, or this is money in escrow. The
Oh,
endowment, for example, at University of Harvard is in the trillions, or in the
listen,
billions. They've asked their
listen,
alumni to stop giving money. That's how
listen.
much
You have
money they
coaches.
have.
Listen, you have coaches who make millions of dollars a year.
Right, right, and it's sad that this is the state of how things are. We got quite a bit of comments on this one, which we're going to get to. I guess let's go ahead and let's see what comments there are out there, okay?
Gentlemen, good morning. I joined the show a little bit late, and I just heard a glimpse of a transgender statement. I really don't see how it's fair, or how anybody could see it fair, that a man transgendering into a woman should be able to compete in female sports. The male still has the testosterone, still has the different muscle mass. It's seemingly not fair to any women's sports, nor is it fair to the records of the previous women that have only competed against women in those sports.
Yeah.
I have no problems with people doing transgendering, but if they want to compete in sports, then I think there should be a specific area where transgender people can compete against transgender people in those sports. What do you think?
I actually agree with
that's
him 1,000%. We had a show
yeah.
when we were speaking on the LGBTQ, and I clearly stated that was my thing. Listen, do what you want to do, but accept yourself for who you are. Understand that you
Right.
are different. Okay, you're not the same as a woman just because you identify as one. So go and have your own sport, and I have no problem with that.
I
Okay,
agree.
go
I
and take
agree.
part in your
Yes.
own sport. You taking advantage of people, it's unfair. I already made my statement on that. I agree with the caller 100%.
Yeah, I agree with his statements as well. He made up two really valid points. What about the people in the past who they did their best with whoever they were playing against in the competition at the
Exactly.
time?
Exactly. Now,
Um,
now you get the opportunity to come
that
and cheat. That's not okay.
yeah, that's not okay. We agree with the call on that. Thank you for your input on that. Let's see what else we got.
Hey, what's up? I'm the first one here.
Well, we have one
Well,
more. Thank you for
Are
tuning
you not
in.
going to talk to me or I'm going to leave?
I'm sorry, I didn't get
Peace,
it.
dudes. Bye. See you.
What age did you lose your virginity? Because I lost mine at 9.
Oh
Wow,
wow.
that's a bit wild. That's a whole nother show.
That's actually a whole other show, and I think that we need to make certain that we do have a show about that because that covers so many different things. And
Yeah,
I would just say I want to apologize on the behalf of males
yeah,
if that's who you lost it to. That's something that should
yeah,
never have taken place. And
yeah.
it's obvious that anybody in that kind of a situation, if you have not sought counseling as yet, you need to definitely do so.
You definitely go ahead and look forward. Yeah, reach out to the right channels, the proper channels to that. Thank you for tuning in to our show. However, switching gears to that point, talking about the NBA and talking about a lot of what's happening and taking place, and just basically what I see. Honestly, from what I see of the NBA, we have a man that whether you like him or not, whether you feel whatever way you do or not. Um, you're polarized about it a lot. LeBron James might not be, he's not the god that walks on water like people say he is, but he does do some things, a lot of things socially. He does perform in his aspects as he should on the basketball court. And that's all really what we want. Whatever he does in his own personal life, family man, which we've had reports that he's good or not so good or whatever it would be. I didn't come to the gym to look at whatever he got going on in his home life. I came to see game and he performs and puts a good team for the last maybe 17 years. Of those 17 years, 11 of them he's been able to be at a championship level, or 10 of them. His team is competing again this year, and for a 37-year-old, takes good care of his body and is still in quality shape or form. So the Lakers, which are the defending NBA champions, now have some competition maybe out of the East, which is the Brooklyn Nets, which is Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, and all of a sudden everybody wants to join this team. Now, just for those of you that are sports people that know, David Stern, who's passed away, the former commissioner of the NBA, I don't know why this is even allowed. I remember when the Lakers back in the day, they wanted to get Chris Paul. The trade was blocked, not by the teams, but by the NBA commissioner and the NBA, because they said it lacks parity, or the league will lack competitive value. So I don't know why this is allowed now, but not sure on who or why. The quote you've been seeing is, why all of this to be the 37-year-old? And pretty much allowing teams to build a team during the season. Wasn't that an off season? Wasn't there a time when you should have been able to do this? Tell me your thoughts, Brother Gamble. Any thoughts you have on the whole situation? And then back again, like you said, cheating. I think this is cheating. I don't really agree with the fact that they're able to build a team and then put players from other teams onto one team, which they did with Blake Griffin.
Yes, I'll definitely. Yes, I mean, I definitely have to say that I disagree with that. I mean, and as you're speaking on LeBron James, I mean, there are a number of reasons to dislike him, just as there are a number of reasons to like anybody. But as it relates to sports on the whole, it should always be fair play. You keep on speaking
Correct.
about it, but you don't show it. You don't show it. That's not right.
Yeah. And again, on the issue that the caller called in and brought up about the show, we don't. Where are we going in sports? Where's sports going? Is what it is.
Yes.
If we could allow anybody to come and play in any genre, any age, any sex, anything else, we can allow people to make up their team. Like, is this professional sports, or are we? Is this like rec sports, or like even in rec sports?
Okay.
If we do we have rules? Like, what are the rules? If we go to the park and I can stop the game and say, "Hey, I want this person in," where are we going?
Right. Okay, this is how I feel with anything to do with entertainment. Everything is based on how many people are interested in being a part of that. How many people want to be fans, how many people want to be players. So if you have sufficient, and I don't think you should be a part of anything until you have enough people to join your team. So if you all say you all have a lot of people in the transgender movement, you all have so many people that you all need attention, you all need a platform. Okay, fine. Put together your team. You guys start from the bottom like everybody else. Stop going into organized sports that have already taken the time to build their following over the years. That's unfair again. All right. So start from the bottom like everybody else and make up your own rules. And if you're calling it the same thing and you're saying, okay, let's take an example. You're saying transgender basketball. Well, you have league rules already. Follow those rules, set those things up, and only you and your people play. Those who want to watch y'all, like how they started out with women's basketball, those who want to watch you will watch you. And gradually and eventually you all will build to a particular point. Why should it be okay for you to be able to jump on somebody else's bandwagon? You are not them. You are not them. But you want to say that I associate or identify myself as them. Now you're going to come into a field that they have taken the time to build up and just become a player because you say you are female, and that's fair. I don't think it is. So if we're going to go with that, see, anybody who wants to be different should go and do that. Okay? If you want to, okay, they have Olympics for many things. They have Special Olympics as well. Okay?
Correct.
They have disabled Olympics as well. What did they do? They created their own grouping and did their thing, and anybody who wants to support them or be a part of it is free to do so. They have their own rules. Then there should be that as well. So that's why I agree with the caller 100%. You have the right to have your opinion. We have a humble opinion. They have a humble opinion. But when you have your opinion, that's your opinion. So let you and your people have your opinion. It's as simple as that. Okay? We're
Right.
not saying to you can't be or shouldn't be or you shouldn't do. What we're saying is if you want to be fair, go against your own kind. Simple.
Yeah, definitely safely put. As far as the NBA and its rules as it stands right now, I don't think I as a sports purist or hopefully a guardian of the game, I don't think where we're going is the ideal circumstance or situation or scenario. If we're watching a team, the Brooklyn Nets, build a team during the season, and the league is allowing it. One guy says, James Harden says, I don't want to be in Houston anymore. I quit. I don't want to play. And then, supposedly puts on a fat suit so that the team can break his contract because they feel he's declining, and they just let him go. The next couple of days, he signs with the Brooklyn Nets.
Yeah.
Then you have Blake Griffin on the team, and he has a contract that pays him $13 million or $30 million, and he just turns it down. No, I don't want that anymore. Becomes a free agent, then signs miraculously with the Brooklyn Nets. Now it's the whole premise of thought that I don't want to be here. Hey, I understand. I agree with free agency. I agree with people plying their trade wherever they want to be. And basketball and sports is a trade. However, if we're talking about competition or parity, like how much people are you going to have that are all-stars or high-caliber people on the same team? Just to be the guy that's 37 years old, and then you're doing it during the season. Come on, David. David Stern, bless his soul, who's a former commissioner, passed away. But you also got Adam Silver. Have some chutzpah about you. Have some balls to say, look, man.
Listen,
This is not what we're
and
trying to
insider
do.
trading. Fraud and insider trading should not be allowed. And that's basically
exactly what it is.
Because you're committing fraud. All right, making people believe something that is not true so that you can get out of something. You already have your plans. You know why you're doing this. It didn't happen where you happened to get fired and then suddenly somebody called you. You knew what the game plan was. You all came up with a plan, executed it, was able to get out of the contract. That's unfair. Okay? You doing insider trading because you are actually going around to various players who you want to have on your team. Okay? You already know what
Yep.
Yeah, you already know what the plan is. With the draft picks, you have what's available and you choose from that. Okay,
right. And
that's
it's
fair.
It's not ethical. It's not. Yeah. It's not ethical what's going on. And Kevin Durant, who was on one team, with the Oklahoma Thunder, then in turn left that team, which was probably better than the Warriors, went to the Warriors, won a few championships, or was on a team that I guess was pretty much one of the most top teams, one of the most unbeatable teams, and then went to now is trying to do the same thing. How good are you if you're the person that consistently keeps joining or building quality teams? Why should I respect you? You're just a good recruiter. You're not necessarily as good a player as you are a recruiter. In my opinion, just my humble opinion, I want you to go out there and see if you can win this championship on your own. As opposed to trying to creating the circumstances around you winning and or so on and so forth. Again, getting close to our time here, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for all the callers that called in and gave their thoughts and opinion. Hey, you're free to give your humble opinion or thoughts on our platform, please. You can reach out to us. Let us know on what you think or what's your thoughts on some of this stuff that we said. But you got to pay the guys. You got to pay people. You name of the guy's name is Mark Emmert. He is the president of the NCAA. He's off the Canary Islands today. We're making a recommendation on him. Mark Emmert, by the way, and I have to say this, Mark Emmert is one of the best dressed individuals I have ever seen. No homo, but he's he He has some of the best ties and the best wardrobe, and he doesn't lift, he doesn't run, he doesn't jog, he doesn't do any paperwork. He does nothing. He's just simply president of the NCAA, and he makes an astronomical amount of money just by doing that. And the kids and the people in all sports are not able to benefit off of anything that the programs he's doing. You got TV money, you got CBS, NBC, all these other bigger companies that are buying in and selling. He's selling the rights like hotcakes. And he gets to sell and dress impeccably. You know, come on. You don't get a carry-on. You get nothing. You don't even get the shirt on your back. You are off the Canary Islands because you're robbing the kids. You know, and then you're allowing things in sports that shouldn't be happening. So, off the Canary Islands for you. That's look him up, Mark Emmett. Look up his salary and just be amazed at what you can get for doing nothing. You know, and then robbing people here. Doing so. That's all the time we have for today. Our humble opinion. Right at the time, we thank you for tuning in. Love, Tony, and Malika. Thoughts.
Just to piggyback on what you said, you know, you need to pay these people, man. Definitely need to pay these people. And I agree, Mark Emmert, you know, he needs to be fired, man. I mean, he's not serving any purpose. He has no conscience. And so someone needs to get rid of him, or he could just simply resign on his way to the trip to the Canary Islands. You know, because we don't need to see this individual ever again.
Right. Yeah, you've had enough. You had enough. You know, you've been well satiated off of fake or free labor. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to the Humblest Opinion. Myself, Tony Bahama, Malika the Gamba. Join us next time. Thank you. Have a great day.
Namaste.
Let it be good. See, there we go. I know destination, you never been there before. Oh, no reservation, come on, let's go and explore. If you never